What's good, YouTube? It is Dr. D back with another video, and today I'm actually going to talk to you guys about Sienna's experience going to daycare or after school care for the first day. You know, we've been doing these diabetes talks with you guys and trying to keep you updated on the transitions of everything. I probably need to do a video also on her sleeping in her room for the first time. I'm going to do that as well for you guys. But so I really just wanted to tell you guys all about just basically how the day went trying to get the daycare provider, I'm going to keep saying daycare provider, trained up, because her after school is at her previous daycare provider's house or center, which is at her house. So whatever. Okay guys, so basically how today went with Sienna is, first I dropped her off and I had agreed to be only with the daycare provider for only 2 hours today because she had gymnastics as well today. So just to keep it short and sweet and give her some time to work on, you know, getting adjusted to Sienna coming back, 1, and 2, to learn this whole new process with her pump. And basically it went well overall. But during that 2 hours, the daycare provider did call me. She had panicked a little bit because Sienna had grapes, and she wanted to know if she had gave her insulin for grapes the right way, and told me how much she gave her. Then she said that Sienna's numbers were going down too fast, and just in the span of talking to her on the phone, they had jumped from like 112 to 102. So she was really concerned about what to do with that, and if she should give her some sugar, because now she was going to take her out to play, which we all know that when you exercise as a diabetic, I know for the type 1 in Sienna, when she runs through the house, when she go out to play, you know, there is a setting on the pump where you can put exercise in so that it would not give you the back drip of insulin. But for the most part, we don't really use that often, because Sienna sometimes need her numbers to go. She need to run around the house and get her numbers to go down. But this time today, I told her to give her a little bit of the apple juice that I sent with and take it with her outside. And when she comes back, you can give her the rest if you feel like her numbers are going down some more, so that they wouldn't jump as fast as they did while we were on the phone. So I assume they did that, but they didn't use the second half of the apple juice because I was able to see that when I picked her up. One of the great things that I did for her today is, which I did this for the last person that was actually watching Sienna too, is I would write down on all the baggies or whatever I put together. Like she had her sugar-free orange cup, and I think it's for 6 grams. I was able to put the 6 grams on there, and at the top I wrote sugar-free, so she knows that Sienna gets specifically sugar-free oranges in the cocktail sauce or whatever, the orange syrup, that's what it is, orange syrup. Then she had a little bit of chips. Sienna likes plain potato chips. I think it is not Utz. Ooh, I'm saying Utz because I'm from the East Coast, y'all. It is basically, ooh, I cannot think about the name of those chips, guys. So, but it's in the yellow bag. So anyway, she has some of those, and I always put a little bit of those in the baggie, and she gets those, and it's like around 15 grams for the amount that I give her. So I had already wrote that on the baggie, then I filled them up. Then I did grapes, and grapes was also 15 grams because I counted them out to see how much, and then kind of like you start getting to know what it is, the portions that your kid loves, the portion that they're supposed to have, and what 15 grams looks like in how many grapes. So I was able to do that. So she had grapes, she had the sugar-free oranges, she had apple juice that I gave her in a little container, and let me see, she had like some backup candy in a different bag so that she didn't see it, which was a chocolate M&Ms, so that you can feed her to her little by little. She loves the little chocolate Hershey bars, but I try to give her less of that if I can. Like I told you guys in the last podcast, that she actually would prefer that over anything else, and that introducing her to those things during emergency times has caused her to really like those things. So that has been something that has been hard for me to really change what she likes when it comes to that. But it is what it is. I give her what she needs, what I have, and she takes it. And if you go low again, then I'm like, okay, you can get what you want now this time, you know, especially if it's within a few hours of going low the first time, or the same day, or the, you know, whatever. Then she had also in there, two small cuties, and I think on the East Coast we would call it tangerines, little small tangerines. I don't know if they sell cuties like that, because I never saw that word cuties until I moved to California. But the small cuties were worth $7 each based on the size. If you eat a bigger orange, guys, that's much bigger, it's going to be about 15 grams. If it's a large orange, between 15 and 20 grams, depending on how really big it is. But most of the fruit, like a banana, the grapes, oranges, pears, stuff like that, you already know. And apples, you know that they are 15 grams. If, like, for some reason, like sometimes I cut up strawberries for Sienna and I put them, I'll take maybe 5-6 strawberries, cut them up really thin and fine for her because that's what she likes. I've been cutting up her fruit since she was a baby, so that's just been what it is. I'll cut up her fruit and I'll put them on a plate and I'll eye them and kind of see what they are. In the beginning, I was also getting in the habit of weighing stuff as well, but I didn't have to do that this time around. So let me see, that's basically it with that. But that I think the strawberries are, when I do it that way, they're around 10 to 15 grams. And if she asks for some of that sugar that I have, which is the raw sugar, she asks for any of that if she likes it, because I think she likes the other sugar better, then I would add another 5-10 grams onto that. Sometimes she'll eat the strawberries without all of that, but then she got her days and her moods and her taste buds where she wants some sugar, which is really hard when you're diabetic, because you can have sugar, guys. We talked about that in some of the other podcasts with Sienna and how she feels about it, and letting you guys know that you can have sugar. You have to have insulin for it, but it's best to not have as much sugar. Or you need alternative sugar things that they would normally have for, like stevia. Sugar-free works too, but there's like no sugar-free sugar. Okay, so it's got to be either like an alternative brand or alternative thing that actually still gives you what you feel with the regular sugar. So that's one thing. But I had all that in the bag. I had water for sure. She had wanted sugar-free. I bought these Starburst like sugar-free packets, and we had put it in her water. She put it in her water and she took that with her to school. And so I don't know how she drinking apple juice, and then she wanted to drink that too, because I noticed that she was like, no, I don't want no more of that, because I had that earlier today. So I was like, okay, so you made this and you wanted to take it with you, but you don't want it. Interesting. Okay, never mind, not gonna worry about it. So that was basically that for the foods. So having that stuff prepared helped the daycare provider out very well, because she was like, oh, when I'm rushing with the babies, this is so helpful. So she already knew what grams to put in, but her question was more about, did I do it right? And she said, it's much better for me to call you and ask you if I did it right than to not. And I said, yes, absolutely, until you get to a place where you feel comfortable and confident. And I also told her that when you are feeding her, you can go off of what it is that they have that I've written down, but the biggest goal is to make sure she get insulin right before she eats anything, or even if she gets it afterwards. Just making sure my baby gets insulin is the most important thing, and that's really what you should focus on, and making sure you don't overdo it, as long as you're following what I put on there. Even if I have wrote on there something that is not really 15 grams, meaning it's less, then she will have enough other stuff to bring her back up. If I wrote on there something that is less than what it really is, like if it was 15 grams on the grapes but yet it was 20 and she started going high, then I know that she's going to go down from exercise and playing, going outside, and over time we just wait. But we do correct it before it gets too high, so to avoid it being something that we let slide up on a high scale and didn't fix it. If that makes sense, guys. I'm trying my best to explain this to you guys in the best way I can with how I do it with my baby, because it's a process. So overall, basically what I'm saying is today went well. She called me, she confirmed it. I felt comfortable because I knew I had provided her with everything she needed. The finger pricker, guys, I sent her with that. I sent her with fresh Dexcom this morning, because I noticed that it was supposed to be changed tonight, but instead of getting it changed tonight, I went on and did it today so that it wouldn't act up in school. I didn't want to have no issues with that at all. But that worked out because it didn't go out at all. I noticed that yesterday it was saying she was low, like 3 times. I got up this morning and it was saying she was low, and she really wasn't. And the first time it came up saying that she was low, I just turned her over on her side. Like I think I mentioned that before, you turn her over from her back to her side, which is what her doctor told me as to, you know, try sometimes, because the pressure of her laying on it causes her to act like she's going low and the pump and everything going off, and it's not really low. So that worked actually this morning. So that's a tip that you guys can take with that. Next thing is that another tip, guys, is that you can actually be sure that you write on everything that you send your kids to school with or daycare. I know that a lot of the school settings, kids don't take their stuff because they get free lunch. That has to be hard to deal with. But you know, if your kids are like my kids, they're picky and they're always going to have snacks in their bag or take a lunchbox with snacks, even if the school day that, you know, they go to school and that day they don't have something that they want. But you can always prepare so that if something happens to your kiddo while they're at school or any place, like you have dropped them off, having snacks with numbers on it really help the person who is looking after your kid, or any teachers or people at school, the nurse, counselors, anybody that's going to jump in and help the babies at school would know, okay, this is what she had and it was only 15 grams. Or they would know this is what we need to give her to bring her sugar up. It's in her emergency kit and it's only 5 grams per M&M or something like that. So that's a good tip too. But basically the first day came and it's gone now. I'm really happy about it. I got over it. I was so excited. I was like, I never thought we would go back to this daycare provider, because she's the only one in my area, guys, that's willing to help me out with my baby, as I told y'all in the last videos and audios for the podcast and on my YouTube channel as well. It was great. You know, I felt really good because I did my homework first. I did my job first. I made sure she didn't need for anything, and I didn't think she would have any emergencies today. You know, in the future, I don't know how it would be if we had to do like the glucagon or something like that and have these issues, but I'm thankful. This is day 1. You guys are on this journey with me, with Dionna. We are talking about enrolling kids back into school, after school daycare, after being diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. And I just hope you guys learned some stuff from me today, and you are continuously learning as you watch us, listen to us. We are trying to give you guys as much as we can on a weekly basis based on what we go through, you know. And it's not easy, but you know, we're at those stages. It's been really, guys, 3 years. 3 years since my baby went into that daycare. And when I tell you, she jumped out that car and she ran to that door and she knocked on that door, she was so excited. It was good to see her do that again. And also, I think I told you guys that her brother that is going to be born in May, he is actually going to the same daycare too, in I think July 1st. And so it's going to be kind of cool to be able to send both of them there all day, full time. It's like, get my life back. I know a lot of moms, you know, we go through it, man. We go through it, and it's just hard to get that time to breathe. And I feel like it's been such a long time, guys. I ain't even know how to act today, but I couldn't even have the time to myself because I had to do something else with my son, who turned 16 yesterday, which, you know, I know what it's like to struggle as a parent with multiple kids. And today we had to get clothes for him for both kids' photo shoot. So we spent time doing that, and then I had to take him to get something else for his birthday because he wasn't able to find it yesterday at the mall. So, you know, you got to try to make both kids happy, and that's gonna be a lot, having another one and trying to do the same thing. But you know what it is, I'm built for it. God said he would never give me more than I can handle, and even though I think it's a lot and I be tripping sometimes, I know God has said to me, you got this. And so that's the mentality I'm trying to adapt to and continue to hold dear to my heart, that I got this. So with that said, also with my son, he's in driver's class, which is why I'm in the car talking to you guys. And so I do what I can when I can, and I make it happen for you guys. So with that said, I love you guys. Please continue to follow, continue to like, comment. If you got any questions, any comments, please add them. I want to know all about your stories. I want to hear what it is that you've been struggling with this week, just in general, and what you've been struggling with also as a diabetic in the industry, like in the school arena, specifically as a teacher, as a kiddo, as a mom with kiddos. So just let me know, guys. I'm like open to hearing everything, and hopefully sometime in the future we'd have a couple of people on the podcast sharing their stories, and even on the radio, on the phone. They can actually get on the phone, or they can come in as guests. For now, guys, thank you for everything. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.